Yo, if you thought we were going to see a completely different Manchester United today, I'd be really tempted to call you naive. And if you did, you probably expected Manchester City to bounce back yesterday just because Pep Guardiola signed a new contract during the week. Narratives are powerful, but football is a simple game, and Ruben Amorim is not a magician. In this video, I'm going to discuss the game, the positives, the negatives, which two Manchester United players stood out, and which individual players failed to impress yet again. I said in my video covering Ruben Amorim's philosophy and tactical approach that the formation isn't as important as it's made out to be. The majority of top teams build attacks with a back three. The wing backs, though, is what makes his formation unique, and we saw that today. Manchester United built a lot of their attacks down the sides with one of the wing backs, one of the centre backs, one of the pivots, one of the attacking midfield players, and then with Marcus Rashford coming across ball side and playing on the shoulder of one of the central defenders. Creating overloads in wide areas or down the side has a few distinct advantages. The first is that if you turn over the ball, it's in a wide area and you should have an overload of players so they can press quickly to win the ball back. This limits the chances that the opposition can hurt you in defensive transition. This addresses an issue that Manchester United have had for a long time. Losing the ball with a square pass in the middle of the park when your players are spread out is when you can't afford to turn the ball over, which was happening far too often under the previous manager. I think that's the first real positive today from a Manchester United perspective. Overloading one side of the pitch also drags the opposition across to that side, meaning that a quick switch of play is always on to the wing back on the opposite side. A pass that you'd imagine we will see Bruno Fernandes play time and time again. As Ruben Amorim said in his post-match interview today, Fernandes loves a long pass and perhaps a bit too much at times. Out of possession, I thought Manchester United looked relatively organised and compact, but it was the individual performances that left a lot to be desired. Ipswich were first to every second ball and showed the sort of fight that many Manchester United fans were probably expecting from their team today. Morrissey, Kajust and Hutchinson in particular won everything in the middle of the park. O'Shea and Burgess were proactive and aggressive in their defending, and they marked Marcus Rashford out of the game after he scored an early goal. We saw a rejuvenated Marcus Rashford for all of 90 seconds and then he transformed back into his old self. He is stealing a living on £300,000 a week. Although the 9.5 Joshua Zirkzee came on just before the 70th minute to play behind Rasmus Højlund, who also came on at the same time, and the pair of them played like the Chuckle brothers. For the record, I do think there's a player somewhere in Højlund, but Zirkzee looks completely out of his depth. It's early days, of course, and I've learned not to write off a player too quickly, but the early signs for Joshua Zirkzee aren't exactly encouraging. While I'm digging out individuals, Diogo Dalot struggled to stop crosses for 90 minutes today. Wes Burns and Hutchinson had an absolute field day down that side of the pitch. I really like Dalot, but he is capable of some shocking performances. I think you either play him as a right wing back or you leave him out altogether. Square pegs and round holes and all that jazz. I do think the team picked by Amorim today was heavily influenced by the players he directly worked with this week, which is why the team did look a bit makeshift. In a few games' time, I expect the starting 11 to look completely different. After the likes of Martinez, Yaro, Shaw and Mainu are fully fit, and after Amorim figures out who he can trust to put in a performance for him. He did say that being a former player himself, he knows every trick in the book, so hopefully he can see through some of these players that have thrown manager after manager under the proverbial bus. Casemiro and Eriksen looked lost in midfield, which is worrying considering how experienced they are, but for all the technical ability that they do have, they lack energy, running power and aggression. Ugarte came on and provided a bit more energy, but when you see some of his passing and the way he looks after the ball at times, you can see just why Luis Enrique could not wait to get rid of him. In my opinion, there are only two players from the Manchester United team that I would say played well today, Amad Diallo and Andre Onana. Diallo set up the goal, created a decent-ish chance for Eriksen, used the ball intelligently throughout the game and put in an excellent shift defensively. Onana, who was my man of the match, made some outstanding saves from Liam Delap in particular. The big positive from today is that Ruben Amorim got to see firsthand just how average some of these players are, both in terms of attitude and ability. He now has a few days to analyse the game, work with these players, and I think we'll learn a lot more about what he thought of some of these individual performances when he picks his team against Bodo Glimt on Thursday. I'll finish with a word on Ipswich. I thought they were outstanding today. They're clearly a well-coached side and I can't praise that performance enough, especially considering they're missing the likes of Greaves, Ogbene and Phillips. I've really enjoyed watching them this season and I'm not as convinced as most people that they're definitely going down, although I do appreciate that it will be difficult for them to stay in the division. Every single one of their players put in a proper shift today, and they'll probably be disappointed that they didn't win that game. That's all from me. Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you agree or disagree with what I've said? And Manchester United fans, do you think it was a good thing for AMORIM to see a performance like this firsthand, or do you simply see it as 2 points dropped in the quest to finish in the European places? Lastly, please give the video a like if you liked it, and hit subscribe for more football related content just like this one, and thank you so much for watching.